I know this doesn't look like one of my regular Teebees Hobbies videos for y'all because I'm out and about with my doggy. But I want to take this opportunity while I am and talk to y'all about how it's critical on Whatnot or really anywhere with the buyer-seller relationship for the actual seller to communicate in a whole bunch of different ways to help the seller out to know what's going on so they know what to do. I want to talk about that a little bit actually in this video while I got Timmy out here, my dog, actually at the park. If you have yet to subscribe to us, please subscribe and like this video at any time and comment. That really helps us grow. Please join us over on Whatnot. Follow us over there. We'd appreciate that as well. You know, there are tons of ways for an actual buyer to communicate with a seller to let a seller know what they want, regardless of what it is, whether it's a certain car, whether it's a certain brand, whether it's, you know, they want a show ran a certain way, or whether they want a show ran or not, whether they like the stuff that's in the show, all kinds of different ways. One way where they don't even have to say a word is to simply just bookmark and share the actual shows. It seems like, and I don't mean no offense to anybody, but it seems like it's like pulling teeth to get anybody to bookmark or share any of these shows. And it's not just for me, it's for a lot of people, especially smaller sellers. Even if you're not going to be in the show, if you like the stuff that you see that might possibly be ran in the show, go ahead and bookmark it. Go ahead and share it. It tells us sellers, hey, look, I need to focus more on this stuff, or the way I'm going to run this, because obviously it's being bookmarked, it's being shared. Obviously, there's something about this show that somebody likes. And if you're new to the app or new to wherever you're trying to buy stuff at, if you're a buyer, and you're unsure on how to do stuff or whatever, ask in the chat. Send them a message, a private message. There's always going to be people new to apps and stuff like that don't know how they're ran. So don't be ashamed of that. I love that I was in a stream a little while back. Somebody was asking people to bookmark their shows, an actual seller was, and a buyer chimed in the chat or whatever and said, look, I know this may sound like a stupid question, but how do I bookmark shows? And there was a couple people that in the chat that said, hey, look, you know, go to the shows on that person's profile. You'll see like a little flag banner type thing in the top right hand corner of each show. Just click that and that'll bookmark it for you. You know, if he wouldn't ask that, he wouldn't have known how to bookmark stuff, and he would have probably missed out on future shows that he would definitely want to be in. But yeah, bookmarking shows and sharing them, because we see the shares as well as sellers, tells us a whole lot on what we need to do for y'all. Do you think it's fun for us to go on, you know, these Whatnots and other places that even aren't live stream that takes hours and hours and hours to do stuff? By the time you know, calculate all the time for everything, and not get any sales or not get any people, you know, coming on our streams or whatever, you know, we don't like that. Just as much as you don't like going in the stream and having stuff ran or stuff done, stuff that you don't like, you know. That's the reason why this communication and feedback is so important. If a seller is selling stuff and during the stream, if he asked, you know, the chat, hey, you know, what are you all looking for or whatever, chime in what you're looking for. You know, everybody's in there for a reason. You're looking for something. You know, chime in and say what you are actually looking for. Don't be shy. Don't, you know, feel backward or anything like that. Just come out and say what you're looking for. I mean, try to be as specific as you can, though, because a lot of times people will just come and say, well, I'm looking for trucks. And then we'll start showing trucks as a seller, and they'll be like, no, I'm looking for this particular truck. I'm like, okay, well, you should have said that. You know, try to be as particular as you can, but if you're one that collects a whole lot of variations of stuff, you know, just try to give a little bit of an idea of what you're looking for, so we know what to run for y'all. You know, like I said, we're in this together. The sellers and the buyers are in this together. We want to do the right thing as sellers too as well, for you buyers out there. All this feedback and everything else, this communication has benefits for both buyer and seller. I can't tell you how many times where I've seen somebody come into my stream or other streams as well and said, I come back for when you were supposed to have a certain stream and it wasn't there anymore. And I'm like, well, did you bookmark it? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, it was probably rescheduled because there wasn't enough interest in it, or I had an emergency, or that other person had an emergency or something. When you bookmark it, it automatically changes for you. You won't get notified until the person actually goes live, whether it's that day that you bookmarked it or whenever the person actually reschedules it. So it helps out in tremendous ways, and it only takes a few seconds to do all this stuff. It's pretty hot out here today, so Tammy's wanting to go back to the house now, but yeah, all that stuff helps out. We don't want to, us sellers don't want to waste buyers' time, and it should be that way, in return as well, and that's the way I've always been. I don't like to waste, buyers' time. I know they probably got other stuff better to do. It's the reason why a lot of times I don't do the 4, 5, 6, 7 hour streams. And normally with me, it's 2 hours tops. I would hope that, again, that, buyers would think the same thing about me as far as seller-wise goes. I could be doing something else productive, doing something else that could possibly be making me money, stuff like that. No offense to, anybody out there that we just hang out with in the streams and stuff and just chat. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, it's just when you go a couple hours with stuff and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what to run, you don't know what people like, you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know beforehand with bookmarks whether people is going to like the show, all those stuff. It gets frustrating. It gets frustrating as an actual seller. Back in the air conditioning. And also, when you do communicate and you just pop into a stream and you just ask for what you want to add, what you're looking for or whatever, please don't expect the actual streamer to stop what they're doing to take care of you even though you're communicating with them, because if he or she's already selling stuff and there's already a theme for the actual show, it's not fair to the other ones that were there for that show and have been there that length of a time, until then for the actual seller to stop what they're doing to cater to you. Most sellers be like, yeah, I got that, but if you want to hold on for a while, I'll pull it out after I've run all this stuff. Or they'll say whether they got it or don't got it. Or some sellers will just ignore the actual comment on asking if they have this or that, because they actually have it in the show notes on whether they take a request or not, and how the shows is actually even ran. Stuff like that. See, all this stuff is created for a communication thing, for buyers and sellers to communicate, to let everybody know what's going on. And I hate to say it, a lot of times people are just lazy and they don't want to read stuff, and they don't want to wait on certain stuff and stuff like that. Well, again, we're all in this together. We got to respect everybody in the community and everything and stuff. So just keep that in mind as well when it comes to coming in and just saying, hey, you got this. I've had times where people will come in and say, hey, do you got this? And I'm actually running what they're asking for. Or I've got it in the background. Or something along those lines. And I'm like, dude, are you just coming in and just asking for stuff, not paying attention? Another thing I don't like, and this may touch a nerve with people, but again, I always say stuff like it is, even, if other sellers want to say it, but they're afraid to say it. Another thing I don't like is how people come into streams and they don't have their volume up. I don't like that either. Again, things are done for the benefit of the seller and the actual buyer. Let me tell you why volume up is so critical for an actual buyer. If you don't have the volume up, and you go to buy something, and then you get it, and you see that the blister's cracked, or the blister's coming off of it, or something along those lines, and you contact the actual seller and say, hey, look, this is damaged, or contact whatnot, or whatever, this is damaged, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? The seller could have said that in the actual stream. Hey, this has got a blister pull on it, or it's got a crack in the blister, or it's got soft corners, or something along those lines. It's very, very critical that you hear that stuff. Or a person that throws up like three vehicles, for example, and they say, all right, pick one, and somebody bids on it, the one that volume up, and they win it, and they assume that they're getting all three of them. I've seen this happen tons and tons of times. The actual seller will be like, okay, which one do you want? They'll be there forever. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Until finally the seller's like, okay, I'll just pick one and send it to them. And then they pick one and send it to them, and then there's issues again, where they're like, well, I thought I was supposed to get all three of them, blah, blah. No, you have to listen to what the actual stream is saying. That's the benefit for everybody, so you know what's going on. What I'm saying in this video is not about doubting anybody. It is not about me being upset. It is not about, you know, some people may say that, wow, he's rude, he's all this other stuff. I'm just stating facts is all I'm doing. Just stating facts to try to help people, buyers and sellers, as I do with everything, to get the best out of the buying-selling relationship. You know, to get the best value out of the stuff, to be able to get the best items, to, you know, become a better community and all that stuff. Communication is critical. Anymore in this world, people don't want to communicate. They don't want to. They just want to say and do the very least of what they need to do, and that's it. And expect things not to go wrong and stuff like that. Well, if you don't have all that communication and all that feedback, things are going to go wrong. Things are going to happen. You're always going to have things go wrong, but there's going to be more stuff and more of a chance of things going wrong and stuff like that. So yes, all this stuff is very, very critical on whatnot as a buyer and as a seller. I hope all this stuff, you know, helped out. That's the reason why I share this stuff. Again, it's not to down anybody. It's not to, you know, attack anybody or anything like that. It's just giving us plain simple facts and giving people information that can help, even if other sellers don't want to say it publicly or other buyers don't want to say it publicly. I still will say it. A lot of people are afraid to do that because they're afraid people, again, think that they're rude or think that they'll lose people in the community, you know, lose their support and all that stuff. You can't be like that. You have to be who you are, how you are, and communicate. You know, and communicate without getting mad just because of, you know, you may not agree with this or that with certain things. Just, you know, talk it out and be adults and figure out a solution. But again, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, give us a comment, join us on Whatnot. Our links are actually down in the video description. And happy collecting until we see you next time.